We stood at the back of this crowd, not even up on the sidewalk yet. And while we're inching toward the door, it started reeking like weed and grape bubble gum. We squeezed closer to the door and the smell was nauseating. House music played so loud it buzzed the sidewalk. The bass made it too hard to hear each other. We finally funneled through and I could barely see, either because of the smoke or because of the black lights. Day-glow squiggles covered the walls. I couldn't tell which art was on sale and which was just a party decoration. It was another graffiti show. Somebody who hadn't crossed over to the mainstream in Soho yet, and never would. By 85, guys like Keith and Jean weren't even LDS artists anymore. They were shown at the blue-chip Soho galleries. Some other artists actually tarred and feathered Keith outside of the Shafrazi gallery because they thought he was a sellout. Nobody else was crossing over anymore. Celia and I felt like we'd already missed out on cool New York. Fuck, I grew up here and I missed it. I thought this thing at the Bandit was going to be more of the same boring shit, but after a while a couple of stern gentlemen divided the Bandit's crowd and made everyone squeeze up against the walls. The music stopped, and you could finally hear people talking to each other. But then it got so quiet you could hear a door open up. Everyone turned to the back of the room, and 5 of these just divine men wearing giant wings made of torn white cloth filed out of a back room. They had bald heads and glittery turquoise makeup striped across their faces. None of them wore shirts. They were impossibly tall. As soon as the music started again, they did these incredibly fluid dance moves that looked like the butterfly, but way faster. They'd shiver their bodies and make the wings ripple down their backs. I completely forgot that art hung on the walls. After these guys danced for 5 minutes, it was so stuffy with weed and sweat in that gallery that I thought I'd pass out. Celia had to pull me out onto the sidewalk. We almost couldn't get outside because so many people were still trying to get inside. Fog had settled between the buildings and we squeezed away from the crowd and I sat on the curb laying my forehead in my hands. Celia stood there beside me, still looking very cool in the foggy streetlights, very put together in her tight black leather jacket and high-waisted pencil skirt. I probably looked like I was about to barf between my knees and chucks. I took a deep breath and got nothing but a nose full of cigarette smoke. Not just cigarettes, but fucking cloves. I looked up and some dude already stood next to Celia under the streetlight. He was probably 15 years older than us. He had these torn-up jeans with splotches of white plaster all over him. He wore a black cowboy shirt that was completely unbuttoned. A pasty little paunch flopped over his belt like a hot water bottle. It ain't warm out there, but he had the shirt wide open like he was gracing the cover of some reject romance novel. And he kept puffing on that clove. He said, "My name is Daryl," in this whiny stoner dude drawl. He was only talking to Celia, though. I don't think he even saw me. "People call me Tribeca Daryl."